Good evening and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. I hope everyone is doing well on this Thursday evening. We're back with another massive show to bring you guys this evening. But before we jump into that, I ask one small favour. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel if this is your first time watching. And let's get straight on into it. So on the show tonight, we are going to be reacting to a story that broke earlier on today saying that Getafe have put in a bid for Mason Greenwood. We will be, of course, breaking down the details of that. Of course, I'll be giving my opinion. I'll ask you to give your opinion. So yeah, we'll be talking a bit about that. We'll also be talking about Manchester United's pursuit of a new right winger in the January transfer window, which I'm very, very excited about. Lots of other bits to get into on the show. And as always, I invite you to have your say in the comment section below. So let me know your thoughts on, obviously, the Mason Greenwood story once we talk about it. Let me know your thoughts on what positions we need to buy in the January window. I always like to see what other Manchester United fans have to say about the club and, you know, just to share each other's opinions. That's what this channel is here for. It's a community where we can all come together. We can all have a say. So yeah, that's obviously the purpose of the channel. So please do get involved in the comment section and let me know your thoughts on everything we discuss on today's show. And welcome to everyone who is watching the show live as well. Of course, it's lovely to have you with me this evening. All the people watching it back on repeat as well. Big ups to you guys for tuning in to the show. So let's start off with the story about Mason Greenwood then, because obviously this is the big story of the day. This story broke about 3 or 4 hours ago here in the UK from 2 or 3 different journalists. And the headline is this: Manchester United have formally rejected a £40 million bid from Getafe for Mason Greenwood. Obviously, Mason Greenwood on loan over in La Liga at the moment at Getafe. He's, you know what? I'll say this. He's absolutely tearing it up in La Liga at the moment. He's playing for a Getafe team who are very, very poor. Okay, it's not like he's playing for a Real Madrid, a Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid. He's playing for a team who literally every season finish either mid-table or towards the bottom of La Liga. In 14 games, he's got 3 goals and 4 assists, averaging a goal or an assist every other game. Really, really, really good return, I think, for somebody who hasn't played football for 6 months or so, obviously because of all of these allegations and all the rest of it. He's gone there, he's hit the ground running, and you know what? He's doing it against big sides as well. He's doing it against Atletico Madrid. He's doing it against some top sides in La Liga, which you have to respect. You know, there's no way you can shy away from that. £40 million. That's the bid that has apparently been rejected today by Manchester United and, of course, by Ineos, Jim Ratcliffe, who is now handling the sporting side of the club. Do I think that's a fair price for Mason Greenwood? I mean, it's difficult. I would probably say no. He's worth way more than £40 million. If Anthony is an £100 million player or £80 million, I think we paid for him, they're both about the same age. I think Mason Greenwood might be a little bit younger. I would say that Mason Greenwood is at least worth the same amount as Anthony. I would. He's gone to La Liga. He's pretty much gone unnoticed. There's been no uproar or anger towards him playing football in Spain, as far as I'm concerned. He's going under the radar. Nobody really seems to care about the stuff that allegedly happened before. So why would he not be worth that type of money? It's not like he's unable to play football and he's, you know, they're paying 40 million for him to just be someone who trains and doesn't play. He starts every single game for them. He's on the radar of Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Barcelona. All of these top clubs in Liga want Mason Greenwood. That's a fact. They do, which we'll talk about in a minute where these stories have come from. But from the information I've got, it's not just Getafe who want Mason Greenwood. It's Barcelona, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. Like, those 3 clubs are all circling for his signature. I personally think that you should be getting anywhere from 60 to 100 million pounds for this guy. I think he is our best player in the attacking position. He's better than Marcus Rashford. He's better than Anthony. Obviously, he's a different player to Rasmus Højlund, but he's better than Højlund, better than Sancho, better than Anthony Martial. He is comfortably our best attacking player, without a shadow of a doubt. I genuinely believe that. He was a generational talent at Manchester United. He's gone to La Liga. He's revived his career, and he's gone without any issue from the media. In Spain, that is. Obviously, in the UK, I think it's a completely different situation. But over there, he pretty much goes unnoticed, other than what he does on the football pitch. Whereas over here, every time he goes to the shop, the Sun, the Daily Mail, you know, the tabloid newspapers are following him, picturing him. harassing him, you could even go as far as saying. So it's a completely different scenario than what it is now. Let's see what people are saying in the chat about this one. But what I want you guys to do is to come into the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. How much is Mason Greenwood worth? And would you accept that bid of 40 million that Getafe submitted today for Mason Greenwood? Let me know what your thoughts are. He is back in the UK at the moment. Does this mean anything? Potentially. Maybe he's come here for meetings with Ineos. I'm not entirely sure. But there are pictures of him circulating today out shopping in Manchester with his fiancée, the mother of his child, Harriet, who obviously is the alleged victim in all of that stuff that we don't need to go into again now. So he is back in the UK at the moment, but obviously it is a winter break over in Spain, so there's no football, I don't think, until maybe the weekend. Now, just to follow on from what I said a couple of minutes ago, the story also goes on to say that Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, AC Milan, and Real Madrid are all considering making bids for Mason Greenwood. 4 top clubs. Real Madrid could well win the Champions League this year. Barcelona, again, are on the up. Atletico Madrid, one of the best clubs in Europe. AC Milan, an incredible team with lots of money and incredible players. How much do I think he's worth? I think 60 to 100. I think anything less than that is an absolute joke. And I will stand by that. He is our best attacking player, without a shadow of a doubt. He is. I think maybe you could argue that Garnacho could be as good as Mason Greenwood if he goes in the right direction. I think he is going in that direction. I think Garnacho has all of the capabilities to become world class. I genuinely believe that. At the age of 19, to be doing what Garnacho is doing is absolutely breathtaking. So he's the only one that I would potentially be willing to debate with someone whether, you know, who's better, Garnacho or Mason Greenwood. I think both of them are kind of maybe on a level par for me. Whereas like Martial, Rashford, Sancho, Højlund, Anthony, I don't even think there's a conversation to be had personally. I just don't. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Mason Greenwood is our best attacking player? Let's see what people are saying in the chat this evening. Everybody who's just joined, please do smash a like on the video. We've got over 200 of you in already. So yeah, please do smash a like. It helps to bring more people in. And if this is your first time watching, please do subscribe as well. Doesn't cost any money. It's completely free. Really helps the channel. So please do subscribe if this is your first time watching. Somebody says he needs to come back. We need to get Mason Greenwood back. We are fools if we let him go. We need better players than ever. I agree with most of that. Pez says we should keep Greenwood. Could be one of the best in the world. He's not guilty. I know the details, but in the end, he wasn't found guilty. He married the girl and had a kid with her. Madrid want him. Mate, it's undeniable that all of these top teams want Mason Greenwood. They do. All of them want him. Okay? And as somebody says in the chat, we paid £80 million for Anthony. Anthony, I think, is average. I'm not going to be, you know, reactive and toxic and say, oh, he's rubbish, get him out of my club, because I just think that's a little bit childish personally. Anthony's not rubbish. He's not world class. I think he's average. I think that's fair. We paid £80 million for an average player in Anthony. We need to be selling Mason Greenwood for at least that, if not more. Now, you could argue that why would any club be as stupid as Manchester United? Just because we paid 80 million for Anthony, why would another club do the same? But as I've said to you many, many times before in this video, Mason Greenwood is levels above Anthony. So we should be getting more from him, okay? Barcelona, Real Madrid, I mean Real Madrid especially, they've got the types of money to be able to buy 100, 150 million pounds players. 22 years of age. I think you need to get that deal done, and you need to be getting 80 to 150. I mean, obviously 150 you're never going to get, but say 80 to 120, I think that's realistic. Red Devils United says it's not Anthony's fault we paid 80 million. No, of course, mate, it isn't. It's not Anthony's fault at all. That's John Murtagh, Richard Arnold, who were stupid enough to give Ajax 80 million pounds for Anthony when at the beginning of the transfer window they quoted us 40. I mean, that's on them. It's ridiculous. Let's see what else people are saying in the chat. Diablo says he's not worth the same as if he was playing in the Premier League. Yes, he's worth more than 40, but he's not a Prem player. That's the problem. I kind of get what you mean. I kind of understand what you mean, but he was doing well in the Premier League for us. He was one of our better players. So, you know, yeah. Lumen says, Kieran, my memory says Greenwood was never consistent. To be honest, I have forgotten any game that he made an impact. Please remind me. He was the type of player, right, who could go unnoticed for 80 minutes. But out of nowhere would score. I think he worked hard. I think he was, you know, obviously very athletic because he's young. And he's definitely a good player. Top Dog says we have a habit of devaluing players. I would agree with that 100%. And Wilson says the problem for the boy to come back to Manchester United is the English fans and media. They take themselves as the ideal ones in the world. Yeah, I agree with you there in the sense of the media. Like, as I said before, he's gone to Spain. He doesn't get bothered. Him and his newborn child and his fiancée probably live a great life. They can go to the shop without being harassed. Why would he want to come back to England? He's living over in Spain in the sun, in a beautiful villa. He can live a normal life. He comes back to England, he's just going to be harassed. So I don't think him coming back is an option for me personally. Not because I don't think he's a good player, but just because I think all of the things that are associated and attached to Mason Greenwood being a Manchester United player, I just simply don't think it will happen personally. Whether you want it to happen or not, that's another conversation for another day. But ultimately, it's not going to be up to us. And I think that if I was Mason Greenwood and the decision was given to me, I would say I'm staying in Spain. You know, yes, I'm from Manchester. Yes, I'm a boyhood Manchester United fan, but I'm staying here. I think it's best for my family. I think it's probably best for my career. And yeah, so that's the story on Mason Greenwood. I want you guys to let me know in the comment section your thoughts. What's the best situation here? How much money do you think we should be looking for Mason Greenwood? Would you have accepted the £40 million from Getafe? Let me know what you think. Always interested to see what you guys have to say. So get in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Now, let's move over to the story about a winger in January. Now, we obviously spoke on the show this morning about Samuel Luckhurst from the Manchester Evening News, reporting that Manchester United are expecting a lot of activity in the January window, both going out and coming in. The emphasis here is going out. Players need to leave before we can buy players, okay? But if players leave, we will bring in replacements. That's what the headline is this morning, which I think makes sense. You know, if Sancho goes, Donny van de Beek goes, potentially Varane goes, you know, there's a few other people that could potentially go. You need to bring in replacements for those types of players. You know, they are first team players. Obviously, Sancho hasn't played football in 2-3 months, so he's not really much of a miss, is he? Let's be honest. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. In relation to outgoings, I've got a couple of things to bring you this evening. The first one's coming from Fabrizio Romano, and he is reporting that Hannibal Mejbri will not be going to the Africa Cup of Nations because he will be leaving Manchester United on loan in January. The clubs that have apparently inquired are Sevilla, Lyon and Freiburg. I think that's great. I think that would be great for him. He's obviously very young. I think he does have talent. Is he good enough for Manchester United? I think there's still maybe a bit of a question mark, but I definitely think he's good enough to, you know, keep on the books, loan him out, give him a chance at another big club like Sevilla or Lyon. I think both of them are still playing European football. Send him off over there, see what happens, and maybe then reevaluate in the summer. So very, very happy about that. Manchester United are also in talks to give him a new contract. So it looks like Hannibal will be given a new long-term contract and then sent out on loan in January to either Sevilla, Lyon or Freiburg. That's what Fabrizio is reporting this afternoon. In relation to January as well, one thing that we need to talk about is Onana and Amrabat are confirmed to go to the Africa Cup of Nations. So we will be losing both of those players. It has now been confirmed. The tournament starts on January the 13th. I had a little look this morning. So the only games that we will miss them for is... I don't know whether he'll play in the FA Cup. We've got an FA Cup game next weekend. I imagine that we won't see either of those in the FA Cup game because I don't know how long before they travel to Africa Cup of Nations and all the rest of it. But so yeah, obviously they'll play against Nottingham Forest or they'll be part of the squad. They'll miss the Wigan game, which is on the 8th of January, FA Cup. Then you've got Premier League against Tottenham on the 14th. Obviously they'll miss that. They've got Wolverhampton Wanderers on the 1st of February. It all depends how far Cameroon and Morocco go in the Africa Cup of Nations. I'll be honest, I don't really know like who's the favourites to win that competition. I don't know who's gonna go through or not, but I would assume that we'll miss both of those players for all of January and some of February. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Let's have a look. Mumra says if Amrabat goes to Africa Cup of Nations and Hannibal goes on loan, do we have enough midfielders on the bench? Yeah, I think so, mate. Obviously, Mason Mount's back training, Casemiro's back training, Eriksen's back fully fit. I don't think either of those players get anywhere near the squad if we've got those people back. I don't think you see Amrabat or Hannibal, personally. I think, Casemiro will be ahead of Amrabat. Mason Mount will be ahead of Hannibal, and Eriksen will be ahead of Hannibal. So for me personally, I think we've got more than enough depth. Obviously, you've still got people like McTominay, Bruno, Kobe Mainu, a couple of others. Like, there's plenty of cover in that midfield position. The issue before was that we had so many injuries. The injuries are starting to resolve themselves, so I think we will be okay. Red Devils United says, Kieran, how confident are you for a top 4 finish, given players are returning from injury and we would be playing only one game a week till May? Would give Erik ten Hag proper time to bring some consistency. I mean, at the moment, we're 6 points off top 4, and Man City have a game in hand. Let's assume Man City win their game in hand, which they probably will. We'd be 9 points off top 4. I don't personally think we're going to get top 4 because at the moment, I don't see what team's going to slide out of that top 4. Man City are going to get top 4, let's be clear. They should not be doubted. They could easily still win the title, Man City. They're only, if they win their game in hand, they're only 2 points off the top. So Man City, I think, is nailed on for top 4. Arsenal's nailed on for top 4. And Liverpool's nailed on for top 4. Now, I know some people will be sat there saying, we're only halfway through the season. What happens if Liverpool lose 10 games in a row? Like, it's just not going to happen. Same with Arsenal. Same with Man City. Like, the managers have been with those sides for a long time. They're still going to bounce back. The only question mark for me is Aston Villa. We are 8 points behind Aston Villa. They could easily go on a run of losing 2 or 3 games in a row. We'd win 2 or 3 games in a row, and the difference is 2 or 3 points. So I know that seems a little bit strange to be looking further up the table, but for me, I'm not looking at 4th place at the moment because Man City shouldn't be in 4th place. They'll win their game in hand and they'll go up to 2nd or 1st, right? It's Aston Villa for me. Obviously, we beat them on the weekend. I don't know what their next run of fixtures are like. Let's have a little look quickly at Aston Villa's fixtures. They're very, very good at home, though. That's the thing with Aston Villa. It's the thing we've got to remember. So they play Burnley at home next. I mean, realistically, they should be winning that. Then they play Everton away. That'll be a difficult match. Then Newcastle. The only way we get top 4, in my opinion, is if Aston Villa really, really drop in form and we go and beat Aston Villa when we play them away, which is in a couple of weeks. Sorry, it's in February. That's the only way we get top 4. Because Liverpool, Man City and Arsenal are not going to drop out of that top 4, in my opinion. I would be absolutely shocked if they did. So, will we get top 4? I would say the chances are small. Very, very small. 20%? Something like that. I don't know. I don't know what the chances are, but I would be shocked if we get top 4. And you know what? To be completely honest with you, as long as the football improves, as long as we see better football, I'll be okay with it for now because there's so much change going on. Erik ten Hag deserves till the end of the season. Okay? He deserves till the end of the season. And the right thing for everybody is for Jim Ratcliffe, Paul Mitchell, Sir Dave Brailsford, all the rest of them to come in, assess the situation, and then if they feel that he's not the right manager to take us forward, they get rid of him in the summer. And we probably get rid of half of our squad at the same time. That's what would need to happen. So for me, I just need to see the performances improving. Hopefully we go on a bit of a run in the FA Cup. Maybe we try and win the FA Cup. I'd be absolutely buzzing with that. Whether we get top 4 or not, I'd be absolutely buzzing if we won the FA Cup. I'd be so happy because we've won one trophy in 6 years. And the FA Cup is a very respectable trophy. Let's be clear. It's levels above the League Cup. So I think that has to be the target for the rest of the season for me. It's plain and simple. To see an improvement in the style of play. I want to see how we played against Aston Villa in that second half. I want to see that every single game. Giving 150%. Going out on that pitch and dying for Manchester United. That's what I want. And I want us to do a good run in the FA Cup. If we get both of those boxes, I'm not going to sit here and, at the end of the season and say, oh, I'm absolutely delighted we finished 7th. But, you can at least walk away with your head up a little bit and you can try and move forward a little bit more positively, But yeah, we'll wait and see. Let me know what your expectations are, guys, in the comment section. As I said earlier on in the show, this is a platform for everybody. So do let me know in the comment section, what do you expect from Manchester United in this second half of the season? We are exactly halfway through today. We've played 19 games. We've got 19 games left. Where do you expect Manchester United to be at the end of this season? This is always the point of the year where people start to think about how the season's going to look at the end. I know we're only at the halfway point, But based on what you've seen so far, based on, the fact that Casemiro, Martinez, all of these players are going to be back from injury in the next couple of weeks, what do you expect this team to achieve in the second half of the season? Let me know. For me, I want us to at least get to the semi-final or the final of the FA Cup. That's my expectation. And I want us to start playing better football in the Premier League. 5th or 6th, I'd be happy with at this point. If we get top 4, I'd be buzzing. Based on where we are at this point. Obviously, at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the season, I'd have been happy with 4th as well. I'm going to be honest with you. There obviously is still the potential that if we finish 5th, we might get Champions League, but I don't want to ride on that. Right, let's have a look. Most people in the chat are saying 4th or 5th. Somebody says Rashford leaving would be an improvement. Lumen says, Kieran, how were you feeling when we were 2 goals down against Villa, and do you think Højlund's tears are justified? When we were 2-0 down against Villa, I just thought, here we go, another one. The players are going to drop heads and we're going to get battered 3 or 4-0. That's what I thought. I didn't think there'll be a comeback, to be honest. So fair play to them. They surprised me. And in relation to Højlund crying after he scored, I've got the utmost respect for him. Do you know why? Because we saw passion. Okay? He loves Manchester United. He's a boyhood Manchester United fan. He's been getting trolled so hard on Twitter, Rasmus Højlund. He's been getting no opportunities. He gets one opportunity, he scores. If he wants to cry, I like it. I respect it because it shows me that he cares. It shows me how much he loves Manchester United, and it shows me how much it meant to him, that goal. So yeah, I respect him for it. Ian says, doesn't FA Cup give us Champions League? I don't think so, mate. I don't think it works like that anymore. I think it used to be FA Cup got you Europe potentially, but I don't think it works like that anymore. So I might be wrong, but I'm 99% sure you don't get Champions League for winning the FA Cup. Let me check for you though. Do you get Champions League? Oh. Let's have a look for winning FA Cup. Yeah, so if you finish, if you win the FA Cup, you'll get entered to the Europa League. I mean, that's an incentive as it is. I know people will say, I don't want to be in the Europa League and all the rest of it. But yeah, if you finish 5th place, you go in the Europa League. Or if you win the FA Cup, you get in the Europa League. Obviously, if one of the teams who finish in the top 5 win the FA Cup, then obviously the place goes to the 6th place team, etc. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined me on the show this evening. Please do make sure to smash a like before you go. Please do subscribe. This has been Daily Red Devil. I'll speak to you tomorrow morning about 8:30, the usual time. Have a lovely evening, everybody. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section, and I'll speak to you all a bit later.